So we're going to do some then and now shots. This was Acacia House, which in its later days was a hotel. It was knocked down in 2003 and replaced, so you can see the old tree there, look, replaced with the Mormon church there. So this is like the Fox pub and roundabout, on the Fox roundabout. So that's now a Mormon church in the tower. So you can see the old trees are still there, and that's the photograph of what was there. That lovely old house. So this is yeah, big church that replaced it there. So it was just on this corner of the road, and then right next to the cricket club here. We'll just have a quick look at that. That's the Fox. This is the Fox pub. We'll just go through this way. So just behind there, the old wall, look, for Acacia House, and then the back of it, they built a new estate there. The back of it was faced out into fields as well. The public footpath, which still exists, is here, which runs to the cricket pitch and then through that estate. So that path used to just go through fields, and they maintained it as a public footpath. So we're just here. It's a short distance from where we live. We live further down there, road down there. But this is the Minster Cricket Club. In winter, of course. So just looking down onto the cricket pitch now. Sunday afternoon, 2nd of February 2025. We're just walking up to where the little Sainsbury's is and the bridge over the railway line. We've just come off from where the railway bridge is there, off the main road, and this walk goes up towards the park. You can see some of these nice old houses here, and we'll have a look at some things, changes up that way. This is the wall, that current little low wall around the park here at Menston, but the wall used to be really high, because that hall there is called Menston Hall, and that was like the wall around the manor house. So all this land in the park was the land around the hall. So you can see how high the wall used to be, but they brought the height up around the hall itself. So it was also called Low Hall or Menston Hall. But the wall was taken down in 1962 to bring it to its current like low level, for like opening up the land to be like a nice play park sort of thing. Back of Menston Hall here on Low Hall Road. So you can see part of the old hall here, and then next to it we built these new flats. So we'll show you what was knocked down there to make those flats there. So this is a cottage we demolished in 1961, and if you look straight ahead you'll be able to see that same house that's in the foreground. So this one here is still there. But instead of this cottage here now, we've got these flats which kind of bend around the corner here. So that's 1961, it was demolished, the cottage that was on this corner. And then here it says that the street's called Menston Hall. So that's the old hall. We'll have a look at that in a second. But so this is the flats they built here. Demolished that cottage. Next to these flats here, there was the lodge to the old hall. So Lonston Lodge, Menston Hall, is there, and that was demolished in 1969. And there's nothing now. There's just a few trees, and there's just open land here. And they've got like the play park just there. That's what was there. Let's have a look again at the lodge that was there. Yes, that's that little lodge. That was just here, and the wall that was there as well. That's gone as well, isn't it? Nice little wall.
Nice.
Yeah.
We just put a horrible wall.
Just got that horrible wall now. Yeah. This is the nice little snowdrops here. Look. Jeep likes. Just on the corner of the park. So this is where that lodge was, which is gone. And you can see in the background the old hall, Menston Old Hall. So we'll go and have a look at that because some interesting things about that in a minute. So this is the shot from 1910 of Grosvenor Terrace and Calbourne Villas, 1910. And this is it now. So it's exactly the same, except in the foreground here we've got these new flats that are constructed. You can see the original buildings just there, look, just exactly the same on that bend. Exactly the same, look. Fantastic features on them and all that there. So there's the old photograph, 1910. And that's what we've got now, just the same. Trees have grown up a bit here. You can see the trees when they were planted, look, they've got the protectors around them, and then they've grown up, those trees, like that. So in the current light, you can actually see the bumps. So you can see these lines going across this field, the old ridge and furrow landscape from the old farming. You can see it's in the park, but just because of the sunlight at the minute, you can actually see it really well there. And if I just turn round, you can now see Menston Hall. So that's the original hall there. And there's a sort of tower feature here. Sorry that it's behind the trees a bit. There's a tower feature. Now that used to be taller, but there was a fire in the tower and they had to shorten the tower. So if we look at this tower in a photograph in a minute, you'll see how much bigger it was. That's the tower there. Now, a fire in 1933 in that tower destroyed the top of it, so they've sort of capped it off. In 1976 the tower was added. So if we have a look at the tower here, you can see how big the tower was on Menston Hall. There's like a square topped thing, and then by that, and then on this photograph you can see the tower is like shortened because of the fire that was in it. So there's the big original tower.
Is that the strip?
And then here is with the snow on it, is the ancient, showing that the strips on the parkland, the field, each householder had 3 to 30 strips to grow food, and you had one of each, every third strip was fallow each year. So you just had a little strip, and you can still see it there in the sunlight today. It's just nice to see the shadow of those original medieval strips, the kind of ridge and furrow landscape from your farming strips. So it's interesting that history hasn't like ploughed it out with all just playing football on it and all that. You can still see those strips. When you're on it, it's barely noticeable, of course, today when you're actually standing on it, the difference in height. But that's the old system, yeah. So there we go. So that's Menston Old Hall, or Low Hall as it was once known, Menston Hall. And you can see the new flats built right next to it there, and on the other side as well. So this is the park, as kids playing, and the tennis courts are there. So there's the 2012, the Diamond Jubilee, Queen Elizabeth said the Lord Mayor planted this dawn redwood tree. There it goes, yeah, right up there. And then here they've recently planted some cherry trees, look, because they did have some strong winds, blew a few trees down in this area, so they must have replaced them with these other trees they planted. And I've got these nice white birch trees here. We're just still at this park here with Menston Hall there, and if I just come down to this photograph, you can see what was straight ahead here, which is called Elmet Grange, and that was demolished in 1982 and replaced with that. So that's what's replaced there. So you can see that's like the modern photograph of it. So if we look at that house there is still there, look. Fantastic stone features on it. And then they've got the original gate posts, it says Elmet Grange in the middle there, them old gate posts, which are from the original house. You can see the sort of gate post here, look. But yeah, so now there's those flats there instead. So that's all just a lot, you know, the change in this little area here since the 1980s, 1960s. This is about 1930, the junction of Main Street and Cleasby Road. So Cleasby Road is straight ahead here. as we're looking. See the corner shop there, and then some other shops in the background with the awnings out. So if we now look, see what that looks like today, there it is. So that's the corner shop there, but it looks a bit more, scruffy. And then the other shops still are shops, but they don't have awnings anymore there. Those are still shops, they're like hairdressers and things like that. That's that corner shop there.
That's
so that's
the same tree.
And there's the same tree. Is that the conker tree? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the horse chestnut tree there, which is still there. Yeah.
Big tree's gone now.
But there was a tree where that car is once, and that's gone.
Tree there as well. I can see a tree coming in from there.
That's that one. Chemist shop. That's just the same really, apart from it's got green now rather than white. And then if you turn the page over, we can see the same shop with that corner shop with the tree and everything that was there, but the other side here, and then the side of the chemist there. So that's actually just looking at this bit here, and then it's like standing back a bit the side of the chemist here, which is now all boarded up, but it was much more attractive on that side previously, which is this, just showing you like the chemist items there.
All the windows off.
So we're just looking at that, and then if we turn around, that's that one there, which is just a little, some little shop there. Still a little shop now. Yeah, so we've got these little round stone flower things. That's the corner shop there, the post office. So we'll go along to Kirkland's now, which is the main community centre and library. Just up here on the right. This little house that normally does the interesting knitted things and dioramas and all that, it's got the snowdrops teapot, and of course their garden is full of snowdrops. So it's all thematic, isn't it? The seasons. Christmas lights need taken down, but I guess that'll happen at some point. It's got these tremendous character features here, these little doors that come out onto a sort of terrace, wooden terrace thing there. Right, so this is Kirkland's. This is original Kirkland's. You can see that the top of it's a little bit different now. There's a little extension on the top there, but this was called Kirkland's because the previous people who lived here in 1900 or whatever, their previous house was called Kirkland's. They changed the name. And then here was a little barn that was built about 300 years ago. So if you just have a look at the barn, so that was the barn there, 300 years old. And then of course this is it now with the library and things added on, which you can see. It's the community centre there in the library. The original house, yeah, it doesn't actually have a date. It might be about 150 years old, something like that.
I've put that weird dormer on
Yeah, they've
top.
put the weird dormer on top, which wasn't originally there. If we look at that one.
I mean, it just looks odd, doesn't it, actually, now you look at it.
Yeah. So there we go. So opposite Kirkland's was the Congregational Church, built in 1907, which of course is no longer there at all. There's just houses here now. So somewhere here was that little wooden church there.
It's pretty.
Yeah. So this is Holly Bank, and that was formerly many years a home of the medical superintendent of High Roads Hospital. It was demolished in 1990, and then Elliot Court was replaced, and you can see the original gate post there for Holly Bank has been blocked up, and also some sort of cable box put in there. That was the original gates, Holly Bank, with the fantastic trees and that, and then 1990 it was demolished and that was built. Yeah, so there we go. On that
Kept
corner.
the trees though.
They kept the trees, yeah.
Big trees.
Yeah. And then we've got here the old school here, which is still a school, but they've obviously built more modern extensions at the back of it. But you've got this NISA thing here, which used to be the co-op, but it's owned by the co-op anyway. But this is the part of the old school along here in Menston, the sort of Menston Primary School. So yeah, the school was 1894, and built on former kind of enclosure land, and then it was, you know, that was just used for livestock and that on there. That's it there. But there had been education establishments in the area for a lot longer than that, but the school moved to here anyway in 1894. But you can see there's more modern extensions at the back there, but still this reasonable size, the old part. Yeah, all sheds and things down there, yeah.
Carefully by a moors. You see that sign?
Yeah. So still plenty of the old buildings that are around, but then on some corners they've demolished the house, or demolished the old buildings and built these big flats and things as you go around. That's Southbourne Cottage, look, very nice, isn't it?
That's in here.
Yeah, we'll see how old that is. Yeah, we just looked it up. It's 1773 Southbourne Cottage, and it's there. Tells you that, you know, Lord of the Manor and all that sort of divided the land up a little bit, and then yeah. This building here is hidden behind the trees. It's Willow House Farm. It's actually quite old, like if you look at it there. And in the outbuildings of that was the local slaughterhouse, in a wooden shop and all that. Yeah. And on the original site was Menston's first school, 1662 and all that. Yeah. So it's hidden a bit there behind these trees, but that's behind there. So on this bit there was an old house in a bit of land called Heather Court, but in 2000 it was decided to kind of close it, you know, get rid of it and demolish it, and then on the land was built again these flats here. It says that Michael Portillo was the housing minister or ever the time, and even attended the sort of inquiry meeting.
Shadow Chancellor.
He was the Shadow Chancellor, all right, yeah, attended the meeting. So it was a wonderful community resource centre for many years, but now that's been replaced by Kirkland's. That's what they've done. But yeah, so there's no photograph of it though. This was at 1831 built as the Wesleyan Sunday School, which operated until about 1933, when the Wesleyans then moved to another hall behind their church, which is just there. And then it was a village hall for a bit as well. So that's kind of a fine building there. It's currently actually a funeral director's, actually just there. That's what that is. And of course there's a fantastic hedge cutting of a train, which is into it there as well. And then if we just turn around, we come to Croft Park, which is this fine old building here, Croft House. So that's Croft House, but it's surrounded by some other flats again, and then here, yeah, so the old Croft House there, that's it there. So it just looks the same really. And so what do we know about it's actually now flats rather than being a single house, but it was a single house originally. There's not much about it, just tells us in the book who lived there and things, not much about how old it is. So we'll just continue on the journey. We're still following Main Street along through Menston here, going towards the St John's Baptist Church, and then there's also like a couple of pubs and stuff along here. But there's not much change down here because it's the kind of old heart of the village down this way as well. This was the post office at one point, and it's got the big massive post box outside it. But look at the work on that. All the snowmen. Look at all that. The amount of work of the different features and things on that. Things hanging off it. Yeah, anyway, just behind that is this fantastic Stocks Hill house here as well. The coach house, yeah. Horses going in there, yeah. There's a little outdoor seating area here outside the little community cafe. So this is the little cafe which is just next to the Methodist church there. Got little planted things, look, on old pallets, just hanging off old pallets, look at that. And then, yeah, little cafe. You can see inside there. Looks nice and clean, doesn't it? That was the old church hall built in 1906. That's the church up there, St John the Divine. I've shown you inside there previously, and then at the minute it has got its own church hall, not looking anything as good as that. Behind there you can see a little brick thing, extension at the back. So that's St John the Divine on the hill there, and that's the old church hall. It's now Palmley Graham. And then we've got, just turning around, the old Malt Shovel pub as well, and then just next to that, if we go along, there's a couple of other old houses, and then we've got the Menston Arms. So there's two pubs just next to each other. You can see how this is a really old bit of Menston here. Still on Main Street, going through. The old pictures of the pubs, yeah. How old are they? So that's the Malt Shovel, which just looks exactly the same, and that was 1850. And then the Menston Arms, what does it say what date that was? That's still there, it just looks exactly the same. The youngest pub displays the arms of the Fairfax family. It was for many years known as the Beer House. So this was an old pinfold, which was like, I think it's called Pinfold Cottage now, where he keeps like animals and that overnight and things. It says that it was sort of a stray cattle and sheep, a well-supplied water, and then it was a blacksmith shop for 100 years until 1912, and then it was a fire station until 1937, and then in 1992 it was all repaired because it was all damaged and became this little cottage here. So on the next page there's a little photograph of showing you the there it is. So that's when it was, the fire, like a bit dilapidated. And there it is in 1992, and there it is now. They've added the kind of wooden features and things onto it there.
Got rid of the door at the front.
Got rid of the door at the front, yeah. So that's kind of 1992, and that's older. Yeah. So then behind it, we've got Fairfax Hall, which we'll look at next. Just this building here. This is Fairfax Hall. And you can't quite see the full view of it. I'll just zoom in slightly so you can see the top window there. This is 1672, I think. There's a better view of it so you can see it in the photograph from the book here. Seat of the Fairfax family, Charles Fairfax, 1627 to 1672, and it's thought that Oliver Cromwell planned the Battle of Marston Moor here in 1644. So there's some old history there. Yeah, and then we're next to the Fairfax Club here. Bit of a newer building, just stuck there. You see the crest, but that's the hall there. And then we're coming right up now towards this little bend, and then it goes down to Bleach Mill Lane. We'll kind of stop there because obviously there's old photographs of the Bleach Mill and the old history of that. But I think we're going to sort of stop now and head back. Old Menston Grange. See a bit of it there. It's a bit hidden by the trees. This is 1672, and it was built for a high-ranking church official called Robert Hitch of York. And actually also the village courthouse. And I don't know if you can see the chimney there on the right. There's a stone sort of sticking out. Can you see the stone sticking out? Well, that was where you hung people from, basically. So the courthouse. And then you could hang convicted criminals off that stone. There's a couple of stones probably sticking out from there. So there we go. So we're kind of at the end of Main Street here. So we're just looking back towards the centre of Menston. And then that's the view of the same view today. So that's the corner there. And then this is kind of modern housing here. But that's what it was like in about 1910.
That's the picture of the Menston Grange that you just talked about with the sticking out hanging stone.
Yeah. So that's just around this corner here. So this is this corner where Menston Grange is up this road. So there we go. And then down here that's Bleach Mill Lane, and that's for another day. And then there's a brand new housing development going in up here, being controversial up there as well.
That looks awful, doesn't it?
and they've had to pin back a lot of like the fields and things with walling, and that really high walling behind that as well. We're just going down this little the hellebores and all that down here towards the St John the Divine Church. Of course, they're very poisonous, these, but yeah, they're all flowering. So 2nd of February 2025. Been a kind of sunny day, but quite cold, 4 or 5 degrees. Yeah, so this is the church, and then Fairfax Hall, which was 1670s. That was just there. You can just see the roof of it there, the big chimneys and things there. And then you're looking up to the Chevin, that direction on the hilltop there to the Chevin, and little snowdrops and things. So this is the churchyard, and looking down upon what was once the church hall but hasn't been for a long time. And then the malt shovel pub there, and then these old houses. And then the slightly more modern village hall, parish room, it says, St John's parish room there. We've got the crocuses flowering here already as well. So, obviously there's more parts to mention because there's the high rides and everything, but we're not going to do that today. And there's other areas as well to look at the different changes for, but I thought we'd show you some of that for now, kind of then and now, and a bit of a walk around Menston. But just opposite the church here is this, which is now an architect's, this old building here. Now this was a fish and rabbit shop, and if you can see, yeah, you can see some of the old features of the building. But yeah, on this photograph, I'm not quite sure how old that is, about 1910 or something. This was a little shop here. This old photograph here of looking at Fairfax Road, looking straight down, and then that's what it looks like today. So the trees, which were well and truly nobbled in those days, have grown up a bit now. But you can see there's, when you go around Menston, a lot of trees are like that. There must just be a history of doing it. That's that corner, that house there in the corner. And that's looking down. A bit more empty, a few less houses there towards station fields and things down there, and of course that's a bit more of it, the fields down that way, and now it's all housing estates. Okay, so we're just heading back down towards the railway line now, and then back across into to our house. But there's a lot of nice houses on this street, very fine old houses. And then there's a few kind of newer ones on the opposite side. Some of these are very substantial, aren't they?
Yeah. Look for funny one.
Yeah. So the road just suddenly changes from that to that. There we go. Yeah. And some of these bigger houses here own like garden plots on the other side of the road as well. It looks like some of them might have sold them on over the years, and houses have been built on them and things. These old houses here, somebody's got a leaf blower out. Coming down towards the railway line now. They had a scaffolding up with a full roof canopy protector on while they'd refurbished it, completely gutted it and started from scratch, just left the shell and sort of, yeah, they've done all that out there. And you can see they've kind of done some landscaping, planted the laurels, did a weird gate thing, not quite sure what that is there, looks a bit odd. Yeah, hopefully they'll plant something to grow up it, but yeah.
They're usually putting up the laurels, aren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, so they're on quite a while rebuilding all that and refurbishing it. So yeah, we're down at the railway line now, at the bottom of the hill. So we just need to cross the bridge, go over to the homestead estate. There's an old lamp post there, look. Yeah, so we're just following the railway line along now. I'm just passing and there's a bridge to the left which jumps over it. We're just higher than the railway line. If you can see the electric wires there for the line. So along the railway line you've got these houses at the bottom of Menston village. And that's the bridge we're aiming for. If you can see just through there, that's what we're going to cross over. On there. And there's always mud here. A good, nice bit of modern dry stone walling there. Around a fairly new house. Pines. And then a lot of people like to not just have the garages and driveways, but also this little bit of space here for parking next to the railway line. So this is it, this is the bridge. Back over to the homestead estate. Footpath heading up that way. It's Menston. That way's the railway station. And this way's over the railway line. So we're looking towards the station that way. The other way heads towards Benridding and Ilkley. Right, that's it then. Thanks for joining us on our journey.